Warning, all attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining this week's webinar, Best Practices and Tips for Using Hubdoc. My name is Charlie and I'm joined today by my colleague Dylan.
Hi everyone.
And we'll be taking you through the Hubdoc platform and showing you some best practices and tips for your workflows. So today we're going to take you over the main aspects of Hubdoc. So we're going to show you the organizations page. We're going to take you into a client account. We're going to show you how to set up an automated connection, manually bring in documents, show you the document stream, how documents are stored, how to publish them down to your accounting platforms, and a lot of other administrative functions. So without further ado, let's hop in. All right, so we'll start here with the organizations page. This is the first page you'll be taken to after you log into Hubdoc. At the top left here, you'll see your free VIP account, and listed below you'll be all the all the client accounts that you have administrative access to. There are two main functions we can perform in this page, the first being add a client account. Click the add a client account button. If this is the first client account that you're adding, you'll be taken directly to the billing information page where you'll just have to enter in your credit card info. For all client accounts after that, you'll see this page, enter in these details, company name, first name, last name, and the email address of that client. If you want to set up the client on behalf of them, you can definitely do this, and there are two ways we can go about this. So the first would be an email alias, and how we do that is you type in your email. So for me, the email associated with my VIP account is charlie@hubdoc.com. And if I wanted to create an email alias, all I'd have to do is click the plus symbol and enter in whatever I wanted to. Usually I'd enter in something like that client's company name. So company ABC. And so what will happen is this will allow me to create the client account on behalf of them, but all the emails associated with that account will be sent to my original email address, charlie@hubdoc.com. So it acts as an email forwarding tool. And why we do this is because you can only set up one Hubdoc account per one email address. So that's just a handy trick for getting around that limitation. Alternatively, you can set a fake email, so charlie@email.com, create the client, and you can just access that client through the organizations page here. You can also change that email to your client's actual email later on, and I can show you how to do that as we walk through this webinar. So that's adding a client account. If you have any employees at your firm and wish to add them to help manage your different client accounts, click the Manage Users button in the top here, enter in their email address, and they'll actually get their own Hubdoc account. But the real reason that you'd add them is so that you can actually grant them access to certain subsets of your client base. So once the employee is added, just come in here, click their name, and you can actually give them access to a certain client. Simple as clicking Add Access. You can revoke the access at any time, or you can delete the user if they no longer work at the firm. So back in the organizations page, we have a few columns here to help us keep track of our different client accounts. So the Docs to Review, this is a prioritization tool. This will show you all the documents that are sitting in the review tab for that particular client and are waiting to be published to one of the downstream integrations. So if I came in here in the morning and I saw Falcon Shipping has the most documents to review, they would probably be the first client that I would go in and tidy up. The next column is the status column. Here this will highlight any notifications within that Hubdoc account. You can see an orange triangle, and this is indicating that one of the automated live connections requires your immediate attention. So this could be for a few reasons. Maybe there's a personal verification question that needs to be entered, or perhaps the client's credentials for one of their connections have changed. This is where you'd be notified. You'd just click on that icon, you'd go to that connection, and you'd either enter in those verification questions or change those credentials. You can also see an orange cloud with an exclamation mark, and this indicates that one of the downstream cloud integrations has become disconnected with Hubdoc. So here's where you'd be notified about that. Last column here to notify is this staff column. Similar to the Manage Users tab, this will show you how many staff you've actually allocated towards the different clients. You can actually click on this staff button, come down here, you can see that I've currently assigned one employee, Dylan Randall, to Falcon Shipping. If I wish to add other users, I can do so easily through here as well. Awesome. So that is our organizations page. Let me just actually take you into one of my client accounts, Connect Construction here. So when we go into a client account, this will be our Hubdoc dashboard. This will look the same to our clients as it will to us because we really want to be that collaboration tool between both of you. The only difference being is for those accounting and bookkeeping accounts, you can come in to this stack icon and switch between your different client accounts with this toggle here. Here would be your free VIP account. And then if you click My Hubdoc, that'll take you back to the organizations page I was just walking you through. So the first thing you want to do when you come into your client's account is set up one of those automated connections and start pulling in documents. So to do that, all we need to do is click the Add Account button. And Hubdoc connects with over 200 different suppliers and banks in the Australian market that we can automatically fetch documents from. Here's actually our list of connections within the Australian market. If you don't have this list and would like access to it, please just let us know in the GoToWebinar panel. Just submit a question and say, hey, I'd like this connection list, and we can send it along to you. One thing I did forget to mention at the start of the webinar is if you do have any questions throughout, very sorry I forgot to mention this. If you do have any questions throughout, please just enter those questions in the GoToWebinar panel. My colleague Dylan will be more than happy to address them, and if it's something that he feels is relevant to all the users today, we'll actually address that directly in the webinar itself. So that is our connections list. Please let us know if you don't have that. So as I said, we can connect to over 200 different suppliers and banks. Well, you'd come in here, click Add Accounts, either search for your supplier in the search bar up here, or you can choose one of the popular companies below. We can choose Commonwealth Bank, and what your client would do is would enter in his credentials just like he would on the Commonwealth Bank web portal. If you have your client's credentials, you can do this on behalf of them. All you have to do is enter in those credentials, click Add Account, and we'll create a feed with Commonwealth Bank, where we will go into the Commonwealth Bank account, pull in the historical statements, and you can see already we're pulling in those historical statements. Most banks will be able to get the past 12 months of bank statements, some banks many years into the past. What we'll do is we'll fetch those statements. We'll actually automatically file them as well in their appropriate account-based subfolder automatically. We'll also fetch documents on a nightly basis. So the same day this bank statement's becoming available on your client's Combank web portal, we'll actually pull it into their Hubdoc account as well. So you'll no longer have to email them and chase them around for that bank statement. It'll show up in their account automatically. So the same way we can fetch and file those bank statements, we can also fetch and file bills from other suppliers. We do connect to utilities, telcos, software vendors, retailers, insurance companies, many more. So the same way we can fetch and file a bank statement, we can fetch and file this Telstra bill. It's been brought in, it's been automatically filed on the left here, and right away we're going to extract key data from this bill. So if we open up this bar on the right here, also known as the edit data bar, we will extract the vendor name, date, and total amount instantaneously. Furthermore, we can publish the document down to our cloud accounting integrations, and I'll go through that just a bit later in this webinar. Awesome. So that is the automated side of our platform. That's really what makes us different, and that's really our bread and butter. We do realize that not all suppliers are going to be online, so if you do have some of the suppliers that you still are getting emails in that you want to bring in, you can definitely upload those manually. So what you would do is you'd click the Add Receipt button, and there are three ways we can do this. The first would be to drag and drop a file from your computer or browse from a file on your desktop. The second would be to email in a document, or the third would be to snap a photo of a receipt on the go. So I can just show you an example here. So I'm just going to search for receipt on my computer. All right, here we go. all you do is you attach that file, it will pull into Hubdoc right away, and it will come into our All tab. So for all documents that are automatically fetched, we'll extract the data right away. For all the manually uploaded documents that we bring in through this Add Receipt button, they will need to go through our OCR technology to extract that key data, and that typically takes 12 to 24 hours. So once we bring this document in, it's going to go into the Processing tab. It will, as I said, take 12 to 24 hours to extract that data, and once that process is complete, it will go into the Review tab. So the Review tab will be all those new documents that have been pulled into Hubdoc, have had data extracted from them, and are awaiting to be published to one of the downstream accounting platforms. And you can think of this as your Hubdoc inbox. So you can come in here every morning, every week, whatever suits your workflow, see which documents are ready to be published, and take care of them. The Failed tab, these will be any documents that have had trouble processing through our OCR. The receipt might have had ink faded that we couldn't read, or the receipt was all crumpled up. Those sorts of things would cause a fail in the processing stage. Archived, these documents will be any documents that have had action taken on them, and they'll have this green check mark here. So this document stream is really what we recommend you use to go through your most recent documents in terms of processing them and publishing them over to your accounting platforms. If you wanted to access historical documents, that's where you'd go to your folder structure on the left here. So when you first set up your Hubdoc account, you're going to have two master folders, bills and statements and uploads. Bills and statements will be all those automatically fetched documents from those automated connections, and uploads will be all the manually uploaded documents. So these, as I said, will be created automatically, but if we do want to, we can rename the documents as we see fit. So we can rename the folder, we can delete the folder, we can also drag and drop folders onto one another. So for example, I've created this food folder. If I wanted to, I could just take a food vendor and drop it into food. So we can do that. We can also create new master folders, for example. So just click down on this drop-down menu, go add new folder. Let's say I want to create a telecommunications folder. Just type in telecommunications. And what you need to do whenever you create a new folder is make sure that you click enter. If you click off the folder, it's not going to create. So just click enter to create that folder. And from here, I can just drag and drop my Telstra files into telecommunications. So as you've probably noticed, this folder structure is going to sort all the files on a supplier basis. If you wanted to sort files that are from different suppliers but are similar in nature, you can definitely do this, and that is exactly what tags are for. So to add a tag, very easy. You can either add a tag through here by clicking the new tag button, entering it in, and clicking enter, or you can actually go into a document itself and add a tag at the top left here. So for example, say I wanted to track certain employees' expenses. So we can type this in as Charlie's expenses, click enter. That will actually create down here. Similarly, we can drag and drop folders into these tags, whether that's one document or many documents at a time. Very easy to do so. Another thing that I should mention is notes. So notes are helpful for a client who wants to communicate anything about that document to his accountant or vice versa. He'd just come in here, type whatever note, Charlie paid for with company credit card, click save, and here you see this little note illustration. This note will carry forward with that receipt. If you are emailing in a document and want to add in a note, you can certainly do this. What you need to do is in the body of the email, type in hashtag note, write whatever message that you want to write. So Charlie paid for with company computer, and then just end it off with another hashtag note to make sure we don't pick up any email signature or things of that sort. Great. So One thing important to note is that tags and notes are just internal tools to Hubdoc. Those won't actually carry with the documents if you publish them downstream. So just be aware that if you are adding those, they will just be internal to Hubdoc. Awesome. So in terms of where we are now is we've taken documents, we've pulled them into Hubdoc. We know how to keep track of them in the document stream. We know where they're filed and how to access them. So now we're ready to publish them to one of our downstream integrations. So we can take this Telstra bill. As I said, you open up this bar. We'll actually extract the key data from this invoice. With certain bills like this Telstra bill, we can actually split out taxable and non-taxable portions. So what you need to do that is come in here to the tax rate field, drop it down, click extracted amount. For the tax amount, what you would do is you'd manually enter in the total tax amount that's listed on the invoice. So here we can see GST of $13.64. You'd set your taxable and untaxed rates and then your chart of accounts, go generate line items, and we'll calculate that for you. If you do want to change the chart of accounts for your non-taxable portion, very easy to do. Just click in here. You can edit any of the fields as you wish. So we can click Save and Close. And if we scroll down, before we get into publishing, one thing to note is this paid status. So the paid status is just an internal tool to Hubdoc. If we change it, what will happen is it'll just be a visual tool that will put this paid banner on the document and in the document stream. It's important to note that this is just an internal tool to Hubdoc as well. This won't actually move your document into authorized or pay the bill in Xero or anything like that. Just an internal tool to Hubdoc. A common workflow that we do see is that some of our bookkeepers like to use this to signify that they've actually published a document successfully. The current way of finding out if a document is published is you'd have to click in on the document, open up this edit data bar, scroll down here and see that it's been published to Xero. However, a lot of our accountant bookkeepers would rather just click this paid, so they have that visual tool to kind of signify that they've published this bill across to Xero. In terms of publishing this bill, just come down to Xero, do this drop-down menu, and here you just set your rules the way you want to code it to Xero. So we can code it as a purchase, a spend money, an expense claim, an invoice AR, or a credit note. Hubdoc is primarily focused on the accounts payable side, so most of our customers are pushing over as a purchase or spend money. We can push over as a draft or authorized, and we also bring in your whole contact list from Xero. So one important thing to note is that these will be all your clients, your contacts in your Xero account. If you want to add a new contact, you can do that here, and that will update in your Xero account. Important to note that this contact is from Xero, and this contact up here is internal to Hubdoc. So this is how we will file your documents on the left here in the folder structure. So just important to note that those are two separate contacts. So we can publish our document just by clicking the Publish button. When we go into Xero, we will see this document. We can click on it. We can see the transaction. We actually attach that source document to that transaction. So just audit proofing that whole process. If we go back to Hubdoc, one important thing to note are these two helpful buttons right here. So save configuration, what will happen when we click this is that for all future Telstra bills that come in, we will save the way we've coded that document for all future bills from that supplier. And then if we want to take our reconciliation process down to just one click, what we can do is we can click that auto sync button. And what will happen when we do this is for any new Telstra bill that comes in, it will come into Hubdoc, it will be coded the way we've already saved it, and we'll actually create and push that transaction over to Xero with the source document attached. This transaction will match up with the transaction in the bank feed. So really all you need to do is go into your Xero account and click match. So that is how we publish documents. In terms of setting up that integration to your downstream cloud accounting platforms, what you do is you go into the Accounts button at the top right, click the Destinations tab, and here are all the downstream integrations that we connect to. So at the top, we have Xero and QuickBooks Online, which are the two cloud accounting platforms we currently integrate with. Click Connect, connect to your client Xero account. And once you're connected, two important things to note. So you're going to want to click the Publish Tax Data box, and then you're going to want to set your default tax rate and your tax exempt rate. When we connect with Xero, we're actually going to bring in those tax codes from your client's Xero account. Another important thing to note is this push to Xero files. So this, if you have a Xero files, this is where your documents would be pushed over. So this isn't actually going to match up with the bank feed. This is more of a cloud storage platform. So if we go into Xero here, this little folders icon, if we click on that, if we go push to Xero files, this is where the files will be housed. Awesome. So just scrolling down here, here are our cloud storage integrations. So the main ones in Australia that we would connect to being Box, Dropbox, and Google Drive. Very easy to connect, just click the connect button. We can actually customize which folder we want to push our files to. So we have some help desk articles, so just go to support.hubdoc.com if you wish to learn how to integrate with Dropbox and Google Drive and actually customize that destination folder. Right here, if we click copy your folder structure from Hubdoc, we'll copy that folder structure that we've automatically created and you've customized in the folder structure on the left here. So very simple. So those are some cloud integrations that we integrate with in terms of storage. However, Hubdoc itself can act as its own cloud storage platform. With a Hubdoc subscription, you're getting unlimited cloud storage for the length of your subscription. So again, if you have those storage integrations already, you can definitely push them. But if not, you can house all your documents in Hubdoc. Yes. So moving over to the next tab, the Profile tab, this is where you can do those administrative functions. So say you set up your client account using a fake email. Here's where you can come in and change those account level settings. So in terms of the first name, last name, the company name, here's where you actually change that email address. You'd enter it in here, enter it in again, and then just click Save Changes. Important to note that you need to make sure that this email address is unique, as in we can only have one Hubdoc account per one email address. So just make sure that that email address is not associated with another Hubdoc account. As you can most likely notice, I do have a Canadian accent. We are a Canadian-based company, so sometimes when the Hubdoc account is first set up, this date format will be month, month, day, day, year, year. So you just have to come in here and switch that to day, day, month, month, year, year. Very sorry about that, but just ensure that you make that change. If you want to change your password, just come in here. If you wanted to upload files via email, so in terms of the manual uploads, I showed you that unique Hubdoc intake email address. Here's where you'd come and you'd change that email address. So when you first get signed up for Hubdoc, this is going to be a mix of letters and numbers, and you're going to want to change to something that's a bit easier to identify and a bit easier to remember. All of them are going to end with @app.hubdoc.com. So you just come in here, click Edit, and what we usually say is just put in the company name. If it's not something that's been taken before, then you should have no problem entering that in. In terms of data extraction, so what we have at Hubdoc in terms of manually uploaded documents is a fair use policy of 300 documents that you can upload per client account per day. If a certain client wants to add more than 300 documents, they can do this. What they'd have to do is turn off this data extraction button. We won't actually extract the data from those documents, but they will have to go into those documents and manually enter in the date, the vendor name, and the total amount. Very rare use case, but again, if you're uploading more than 300 documents, we won't allow you to upload any more documents than 300. If you need to do that, come in here, uncheck that box. In terms of Collaborators. So, say you're a client, you set up your Hubdoc account, and you want to give access to your accountant instead of your accountant actually setting up the client that client account for you. Here's where you actually give access to your accountant or bookkeeper. Type in their email, click add, and they will have access to your account. So in terms of hide accounts, so the hide accounts tab is helpful for clients who have, let's say, a personal bank account that they don't want fetching into Hubdoc. So as I mentioned, when we do that historical fetch, when we first set up our automated connection, we're going to bring in all the documents from the portal. So here I have 3 different bank accounts. Let's say one of them is a personal account that I don't want my account seeing anymore. What I'd do, again, is I'd come into accounts, go to that hide accounts tab, and I'd just toggle over to stop fetching. And this account on a going forward basis will no longer bring in those documents. And just to ensure that all those personal documents are off my Hubdoc account, I just have to come into this folder, click the drop-down menu, and click delete folder. From here, those documents will move into my trash. I'll just empty the trash to get those documents off the Hubdoc servers. Awesome, so that's just a handy trick and tip if you have personal accounts that you don't want your account seeing, and vice versa. So manage accounts, this is the last tab I'll show you guys. So these will be all of your automated connections in this automated accounts tab, and then all of your manual connections in the manual accounts tab. So here's where we can come down and we can actually set supplier level rules. So here's one of my Combank connections. I can actually edit the location that I want this to go to in terms of my folder structure on the left here. In terms of auto pay, this will put that paid banner, as I mentioned earlier, on that document stub. Again, just an internal tool to Hubdoc. Will not actually be paying those bills. Auto archive, this is a setting that we automatically set for bank statements because we don't want to replace the bank feed, we just want to complement the bank feed. So bank statements coming in will usually be auto archived. If you have any other statements that you don't want to publish downstream, I suggest clicking this box and those will automatically go into your archive tab. In terms of email alerts, send me an email when a new document is retrieved. That will go into your email inbox, and the same goes for 5 days before a bill is due. If these emails are annoying you and you want to get rid of them, just come in here, unclick these boxes, and you'll no longer receive those emails. And again, similar to how we configured this for in the edit data bar, here is where you would come in and see which downstream integrations you want to integrate the supplier with. So you just come in here, click the box, say if you wanted this to auto sync to Dropbox or auto sync to Google Drive, and click save. So we can do that. We can auto sync certain accounts to go to Dropbox or Google Drive. However, if you don't have that set up and you just want to do a manual push, you can just come into all documents here, go push to Dropbox or push to Google Drive. You can actually also download all the files onto your computer into a zip file, and those will actually hold the same folder structure that you have in Hubdoc. One more thing I'll show you on the Manage Accounts tab is when we go down to our connections here, you'll see 3 items on the right. So Update Accounts. This will rerun the connection and bring in any missing documents. Edit credentials, this is where you'd come in if your client had changed his credentials for, say, Commonwealth Bank. You'll need to update those as well within Hubdoc, so here's where you come and do that. If you wanted to delete the connection, here's where you can delete just click Delete Account. If you ever have a problem with this connection and want to report the problem, just click the Report a Problem button, and that will submit a ticket with our support team. Awesome. So that concludes it for our weekly webinar this week. If you ever want to get in touch with us, you can definitely do that. You can submit a ticket. Just click this drop-down menu on the top right. Go submit a ticket. Similarly, you can submit a ticket to support@hubdoc.com.au. And if you want to hear our lovely voices, you can give us a call at 087444 5026. That's 087444 5026. If you do end up submitting a ticket, we will answer those within the hour if it's from 9 to 6 Australian Eastern Time on Monday to Friday. We do answer tickets during the nighttime and on weekends. It just may not be within that hour time frame. Thank you so much all for joining us today. I hope I helped you out with some useful tips and tricks. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out.